that is what the NDC promised in the manifesto. That is what President Mahama promised.
That may have affected prices as you say.
That is what affected. Because
Abusia Mamu Akwaba Ibium Emra Brighter Media. So quick one. Yonko tien Samoa opening pa oda cocoa board ano edi atuja. Enjoy enebe to just say cocoa price increase from 3,001 to 3,002. And I'm so ama Ghana fobi huni se adieni sa. His Excellency John Mahama enena bain woman try Randy Abbey enyabutre acheche nsemu eri nsem bebre atudwanti quick one yencha won yenko na enyabutre na entie nsemu a opening pa oda cocoa board ano edi atudwa ene enchemu a ode aba ose 3,002 a omodi cocoa no akono woma yade papa quick one iyenya butre na iyentie.
First of all, Obi, I think there are two things.
Yes.
Either say analysis no too simplistic.
Okay.
And now say mischievous.
Okay.
To be honest with you. Now cocoa ebono ye dien ye determine cocoa First of all, cocoa ni exporti.
Yeah.
Inti yenton cocoa was cities. Ye nyina nim say cocoa no ye ton no US dollars. Inti ye obibia ye frɛ no FOB.
Yes.
Okay. Inti FOB no wo determine don't forget say ye guarantee prices for farmers.
Sure.
So the idea is say ye an average forecast. And then we also try to lock in some contracts when the prices are favorable. Into an average forecast of your pricing. Into you find say now see over the season no on the average prices be 7.5 on the average. It is our average 7.5 no and now the be year FOB no. What me I say?
Yeah.
Then in determining the producer price, which is the farmer share, a percentage
of that
of FOB no. Enti you say percentage of FOB now. Then what do? You multiply it by the prevailing exchange rate.
At the time,
no. In fact, Bank of Ghana bema an average over the same period.
Okay.
It's what average of the price okay. Over the period.
Okay.
Then Bank of Ghana subema average exchange rate over the period. Enti no, and now the year or pricing no. What did I say? Enti you first of all must determine what the average FOB is, and then you determine percentage of the farmer no.
Sure.
Now I'm multiplying by the prevailing exchange or the average over the period. Inti, remember example, just to go back a bit. Season here end year 24-25 season. November 2024. And MPP are buying. Emma 24-25 price.
Sure.
Now FOB are buying a UCA $4,850 a ton. $4,850 per ton.
Okay.
That was the FOB.
Okay.
And as our FOB no, Obama farmer no $3,100 US dollars as the farmer share. So that represented 63.9%. 63.9.
Yes.
It declared FOB November 2024 for 24-25 season was 4,850. That is when spot prices were at 10,000, 9.5 and whatever. Declared FOB was 4,850. It is more and 3-1 for Equiafor.
Yes.
The 3-1 no exchange rate are UCA 16 cedis
to a dollar.
Into $3,100 by 16 cedis, which was the exchange rate from UCA in November 2024. And then my 49,600 cedis per ton.
Yes.
And at 3,100 cedis per bag. Because 16 bags make a ton.
Sure.
So that was what happened. Now, fast forward.
But at the time, despite all of this calculation, the argument was made, say, government could probably have given farmers more than 3,000. Well, I think the NDC were very loud on that.
Yes.
And the Honorable Atofos and Kokan said 6,000 kwan and Kabay mix and all of that. Why was that analysis made?
So for anybody who analyzing market no. Now when who say ye ton cocoa between 9,000 and 10,000. Now, you announce farmer share 3-1. What will be your reaction? Ocean market now, over period, no?
Yes.
Price no equal between 9,000 and 10,000.
Ghana cedis.
No, US dollars. O monitor market now. Now say a buying airbe bought price. No, I'm a farmer 3,100. What will be your reaction?
Initially,
Young fan say even CC, you know.
Yes.
Market is hovering around 7,778. If you announce say, let's say $3,100 for the farmer, how would anybody feel? That your share market now price no around 7,778. 7,8.
Yes.
It will the farmer 3,100. What it means, they say you are giving the farmer even lower than 50%. So on the face of it, that will be the reaction of everybody. And it's on the basis of that now, people said that because when they monitor international prices now, figures or prices no over a period no. Any the farmer no, it doesn't make sense because prices no about 9,000. You find saving 8,500 on the average, 8,500. Now so farmer 3,100. Then what percentage are you giving the farmer? When historically, we're saying the band is between 60 to 70%. So 60 is the lower band, 70 is the highest band.
Yes.
Okay. Inti say you ready at the end as a market, no? You find say average 8,500 and $8,000. Now so my farmer 3,100. On the face of it, it looks like you are giving the farmer way below the 60%. So obviously anybody or monitor no, the person will be worried and the person will say I'm cheating the farmer. And I'm sure said that was the reaction. Because the farmer share was 3-1. But you see, that is also the level of transparency. Because, for example, until Mimi Cocoa board, no, na me name say FOB UCA was 4,850. Nobody in Parliament knew.
How so?
Nobody knew. Because if they knew the 4,850, they would have asked questions. Say, how did you arrive at an FOB of 4,850? Because 4,850, and not 3-1, here 63.9%. But how did you arrive at 4,850? You should be able to explain. It was just a statement in more.
Yes.
We have talked about the 7,200. 7,200, no, you're breaking it down. Say it is also because we are carrying forward, rolling over 100,000.
Yes.
Of 2,600 that was signed in 2023, 2024.
Yes.
What it means, they say, so 100,000 at 260 is bringing the weighted average down. It will factor pricing now. You find if you are going to do 600,000 tons. Now say 100,000 tons of that is 2.6. Now say 500,000 tons. 7,700. You have to factor in the 100,000 at 2.6, no?
Yes.
With the 500,000 at 7.7 or 7.8. And then you have a weighted average. That will be your FOB. Because cocoa na oba betino. And yan na ukoton no 7.7. Would the bear 100,000. Why not what on 2.6? They couldn't supply. Would the 100,000 eco supplies are 2.6 no? So you must factor that 2,600 by 100,000 tons in determining your FOB for that season. Because 100,000 of what you produce will be given for 2,600, and then 500,000 will be given for the higher price. It is our weighted average, you know.
Yes.
And no any about 7,200, no. So what is it that caused the weighted average for 24-25 to come to 4,850? That is what nobody knew until we stepped into Cocoa Board. I've seen handing over notes on my desk at Cocoa Board. Bibi oho mo friend rollover contracts. It is not in the handing over notes. It was not disclosed to the transitional team. Parliament was not aware. Are you aware, say, for 6 quarters, Cocoa Board did not provide financials to SIGA? I've not seen a single letter from SIGA as a reminder to Cocoa Board, say, won't submit financials. Maybe back Cocoa Board, this small period, Professor Kwesa White.
Yes.
Send ya obet tata ono.
For the financial.
We your documents. Say documents are submitted here and soon here and can't say I can't wait. Try and bring it within this short period. So for 6 quarters, Cocoa Board is submitting the documents without financials to SIGA. Into the issue of the rollover. So it was only when I got into Cocoa Board and now more presentation, many of them call offsite for every department to do presentation. That was the first time I rollover by a buying. Let me say, wait a minute, what is this? Say 23-24 no. Cocoa Board a ton cocoa at $2,600 a ton. Season ibe no Cocoa Board and to me and supply 333,767 tons.
But the technocrats then, what did they tell you? Because on once na ne omo e wo na ye adwuma. E dey na omo ka kire.
Well, I say omo kan and say forecast na omo ye.
Yeah.
So you see that first of all, no we forecaster. They are always how do you call it? You can have plus 5 minus 5% variation.
Margin of error.
Yes, in the forecast. But this is a forecast that fell over 40%. 2027, Cocoa Board be 80 years. Until 24-25, Cocoa Board has syndicated loan for 32 years. Now I'll tell you something. Cocoa has syndicated loan now. The collateral, contracts are signing.
Was signing, yes.
So listen to me carefully. Until who signing contracts? Yes, funny say what signing contracts say may 800,000 tons. Then your average price of let's say $2,600. It is $2,600 times 800,000 tons.
Yes.
And no total value.
Okay.
Until Wuma CMC Cocoa Marketing Company the mandate say you can go and sign contracts for 800,000 tons of cocoa, not less than $2,600. Today we'll go and sign with the buyers. Now, say contracts and now they got 2 banks naming as collateral. Say must secure contracts to supply X tons of cocoa at this price. Until no measure so the amount loan, no syndicated loan. No. This is 1 billion, 1.5 billion, 1.8 billion. No. At that AC contracts now are signing. It is the American see so. It is 23-24 no. Cocoa Board eco signing our contracts to go and secure syndicated loan. Now it looks like the banks themselves they knew what was happening at Cocoa Board. It is for the first time in the history of Cocoa Board. Cocoa Board BSCs in September. Do you know when the first tranche hits Cocoa Board's account? 22nd December. And see that. Even that year, Cocoa Board had to go and take money from Ministry of Finance in order to finance cocoa purchases. So the banks themselves knew that over the last 2-3 years, they were seeing Cocoa Board finances, it was whatever. Yeah, no, ebedru no. Sa contrast na Cocoa Board could sign here to go and do the syndicated loan. Cocoa Board could not deliver 333,767 tons. That they are sold for 2.6. So what it means is that what it meant was that following season 24-25 no, prices no akosoro no. I was say who use sa cocoa no. Now the 2.6. But this is what they did not disclose. Obi utiha Oba Monday to Friday until 2025. No what rollover that.
No.
So for such a huge thing, say Cocoa Board could not deliver what ton cocoa $2,600 went to be and deliver over 333,000 tons. Nobody knew about it.
But how was that possible? That's why I don't understand. Say the Parliament Agri Committee almost signed cocoa affairs. No, didn't know.
Nobody knew. You should ask them. So I've told you, say, for 6 quarters, Cocoa Board did not provide financials to SIGA. And I have not seen any correspondence from SIGA on Cocoa Board demanding those documents. For 6 quarters. That's 1.5 years. So, omo no mujina parliament no mo kasa munya ni say ni they didn't know. They didn't know. So as when I went there, me catch say a call off-site. And I mean who sa you know. So quickly I went to the minister and informed him and he informed the president. So that's how come the president included that in the State of the Nation address.
Of the Nation.
Yes. Nobody knew that. It was not part of the handing over notes. Transitional team, no, it was not part of the briefing of the transitional team. Such a huge matter.
And you are saying, sir, that may have affected prices as you say.
That is what affected, because Ubesha 24-25, no, prices were higher than today.
Yes.
Prices were higher than today.
Yes.
So how is it that Eneno, when the prices are lower, the prices have dropped to the 7,000s, we are able to declare an FOB of $7,200? But when the prices were higher, at the time of move fixed price, no, they could only declare 4,850. What explains that? Obi, what explains that? Because time I hear fixed 24-25, no, na cocoa prices ne higher CNE. But no, ye to me I declare FOB of $7,200. So how come last year na prices no higher CNE no 4,850 was what was declared?
And based on 4,850, you know, and now omoma farmers na
3-1.
Good. And as you see, FOB near 7,200. And why are you giving farmers
5,040?
5,040
That's 70%
of the FOB.
70%. That is what the NDC promised in the manifesto. That is what President Mahama promised recently when he went out there. He met the farmers. He told them 70%, and the 70% we know is the highest in that bracket of 60 to 70.
Yes.
So you will see, say, the farmer share has moved from $3,100 to $5,040 almost $2,000. So the question is that, prices are dropping below 8,000. Prices, cocoa prices are dropped below 8,000. But yet to me, FOB of 7,200. How come at time prices nowhere in their 9,000s no?
Now FOB near under
4,850.
4,850.
How?
But Randy, maybe when you see no, so we share FOBCC 7,200. Mama farmer no share of 5,040. That's
fact, it's
US
39
dollars.
rounded to 40.
That's $5,040 US.
Yes.
Good. And my farmer no 4,000.
Omo declare 4,850.
850.
My farmer no $3,1. Yes.
$3,1.
$3,100.
And then $3,100 no.
Yes.
And in the area CD of 3,100 Ghana cedis
so
for bag.
So $3,100.
Okay.
Times 16 cedis. That was the exchange rate.
Okay.
And on the amount of 49,600 for a ton.
Okay.
Now divided by 16, we'll give you price per bag.
Okay.
And about 3,100 cedis per bag.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Inti adena momo diena sisi a farmer share of the FOB no was wrong.
Yes.
But multiply by US dollar rate of 10.25.
Yes.
Now the obenya no watch him 16.
Yes.
Now for amount price per 64 kg.
Yes.
But why didn't we see a difference, big difference in the price per 64
You don't see
kg?
a big difference because the exchange rate, the Ghana cedi,
are performing
here. So you are comparing 16 to 10.25. So almost 6 cedis is shaved off the dollar. Almost 6 cedis. So you are talking about like 40% plus in terms of the performance of the currency. So assuming say currency was 16 with 5,014, about 80,000. 80,640 cedis.
India no divided by 16. No?
Yes. In 5,040, no. Say Ghana cedi to dollar, no. Still 16 cedis. And about 80,640. Now divided by 16, and then you get a bag,
price per bag,
which will be like 5,000 something. What did I mention? I say?
Until farmers are getting this rate because of the good performance of the cedi.
Yes, because it is always, you see, you sell the thing in US dollar. Cocoa near ton of dollar. Outside.
Yes.
Dollar near ton.
Yes.
You say oil, near ton of dollar. Timber, near ton of dollar. Until uton, it is the dollar value multiplied by an exchange rate that will give you your cedi value.
Yes.
So you have the FOB as a factor in US dollars. Then you have your exchange rate as a factor.
Yes.
Into the US dollar FOB no the percentage and how they ma farmer no.
Yes.
Into this percentage is in dollars. No multiply no by exchange rate, prevailing exchange rate. O multiply and ebe ma price per ton, price per bag in cedis because you pay the farmer in cedis. But you arrive at 49,600. It was arrived at on the basis of a dollar value, 3.1 by exchange rate 16 to give you 3.1 and 49,600. Say you know because of the improved FOB value 7,200. 80 farmer also 70%, not the 63.9. 70% of a higher value. So that is why in dollar terms, you see, the value is almost $2,000. But then you come and multiply it by your exchange rate, which will give you the CD value. So that's how it is. That's how it's done.
Obi.
It will share BBR. Let me just show you something.
That's fine.
Usha, something significant happened. From Yanfan, it says second quarter, when the CD dropped up to about 10.3, you know.
Okay.
Nanka, I was say Yama farmer, no? 10.3 times 3,100. 18 price per bag, now was say about 1,970. And price per ton, I say about 37,000. But government insisted, said no. We can't do that. 80 near Dahu Emma farmer, no? 49,600. And 3,100 per bag for close to 5 months. So government was actually subsidizing a bag of cocoa by 1,114 cedis every bag. So farmer share, no, by virtue of maintaining the 49,603 no, farmer share no moved from 63.9% to about 99.80%. So you virtually didn't have any space for any other thing. No margins, no fees, no farmer support, nothing. So farmer share, because 4,850 now you needed about 4,800 to be able to give the farmer the 3.1 and the 49,600. So government of Ghana subsidized it until the 24-25 season ended. Yes, because instead of 3.1, no, we now need 4.8 to be able to give the farmer the same CD value.
Yeah. My main kind Obi analysis be on the two social media, and then we analyze that now about why the early opening of the cocoa season, and then we deal with that. We say Obi, the president announced that cocoa farmers must expect not less than 70% of the world market price. When the world market price peaked to $10,000 per ton last year, they chastised the NPP for not paying at least 6,000 Ghana this per bag, and that they were insensitive. The world market price this year peaked to $12,000 per ton. Why are they not giving farmers more than 5,500 Ghana this per bag, but the 3,228 they've announced? The calculation is this: at an exchange rate of 10, or no, you see 10.45 to a dollar, $12,000 per ton should be 125,400 Ghana this per ton. In bags, it's 125,400 Ghana this divided by 16, which would give you 7,837.5 per bag. 70% of that amount should give you 5,486.25 Ghana cedis per bag of cocoa. That is almost 5,500 Ghana cedis per bag. Nippon analysis no makes sense, no?
Obi, a little knowledge is always very dangerous, to be honest with you. And I'm trying to be very mild. A lot of figures, a lot of grammar, zero substance.
Really?
So let me explain to you. Obi, statement now can you?
Yes.
When is the season taking off?
It's taking off 7th August. Yeah.
Which is when?
That's this week.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
12,000 no can I
also when it peaked. He didn't state when it peaked.
Yeah, but the season is starting on Thursday. So how do you go and use a price of yesterday? How?
You cannot use the peak price. No,
how can you use a price of yesterday? You are selling the thing over a period. As we speak today, into a forecast, an average over the season, over the period.
Yeah.
So we are talking about, let's say, August to, let's say, July of 2026. Until you are forecasting over the period. You may have locked up some, you may have locked in some contracts over the period.
Yes.
Into you are striking an average. Once you finish striking that average, that is why I kept saying, I kept using today current price. Because current price, as we speak, we've gone below 8,000.
And yet 12,000 They say we are doing below 8,000 now.
You can check on your phone yourself. What they share? Maybe we are more.
Okay.
Patch or share.
Okay.
Not sharing what the price is.
Okay. That's 7,234.
Yes. Into
7,234.
Yes. Into young fan say even
as at 4:14 p.m.
today.
Yeah, as at 4:14 p.m.
Into young fan say even in the course of the year. Now say be a cocoa even got 10,000 and it lasts for 2 weeks or even 1 week. How do you
cannot
that?
use that one?
I mean,
the upper ceiling. You have to take.
That's why I said little knowledge is always dangerous. We need to be careful with some of these analysis, please. At the end of the day, we are talking about a season, the 25-26 season.
Yes.
You have a projection over the period. 2, I also told you, you also have rollover contracts.
Yes.
Rollover contracts, quantity plus value is factored into the average that you do. And that is what gives you what is called the weighted average. So that is what has brought you to 7.2. So assuming, in here, 100,000 ye at 2.6, maybe our weighted average would have been, let's say, 7.6 or 7.8. Do you understand what I'm saying? But to the extent that you supply that 2,600 contracts, within that period, you have to factor that in the pricing. Because 25-26 cocoa, and I would
yeah.
So that is why I asked the question. Say, or no, ask the question, say 24-25, na cocoa prices higher, how come the FOB that was declared was 4,850 and the farmer was giving 3.1, which is 63.9%? How come?
Maybe at the time, said they're okay. At the time of opening the season, now they also did not use the peak price because the workers and that price is higher, and maybe it was the peak price. At the time of opening the season, maybe not drop.
And I made sure when I say the average over that period was about 8,500 or 8,000.
Okay.
But I can tell you, a year roll over
and
2,600 because you're servicing about 230,000 of that in 24-25.
And you have to factor.
It's when you factor that, it pulls the weighted average down. But that is the information that those who were saying pay the farmer. They didn't know. That was information that was not out there in the public domain. And so maybe say Obi, what's Monday to Friday? Maybe Metro. Tuesday to Friday. Now me tell that. Until I stepped into Cocoa Board. Even me stepping into Cocoa Board, it took me 2 weeks. Me call offsite.
And now
presentations, and I mean who's there. That is where I saw it. That's why I got all those details. And I made sure I said, SIGA, Cocoa Board had not submitted financials to SIGA for 6 quarters. In the Parliamentary Select Committee, let anybody on the Parliamentary Select Committee of last Parliament tell you, said they were aware of this. Let them tell you. Whether they were aware of this. Whether it's Finance Committee, Anna, Agric, and Cocoa, let them tell you. Whether Cocoa Board made this disclosure to them. Officially at Parliament, you should ask them. And now, Bisa transitional team, whether in the handing over they were informed about this.